Welcome to the Broski Doodles podcast on this edition of Movie Review with the Crew.
Hey.
We're having a few special episodes on the Movie Review with the Crew because the Oscars are coming. It's not a celebration that we normally give a fuck, but given that we have these episodes every Thursday about movies, why not make it a little related to what's happening in the Hollywood sphere, right? So the first one that we're gonna be reviewing and talking about is gonna be Nightmare Alley. Of course, with me, your boy Big John and Adrian joining me. And let's go right to it, guys. Nightmare Alley, Bradley Cooper's in it. A lot of great stars are in it, actually. Great cast. And I'll start right off. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I was interested the whole time. And I have obviously a few notes, but I can't really complain much. I mean, there's a few things that I try to catch just to be a hater, but in general, I found that this movie was so good. Bradley Cooper, I think, did a great job. This guy, the director, Guillermo del Toro, I'm saying it like if I was a gringo. Guillermo del Toro, hostia, joder. He directed that movie, Pan's Labyrinth, which is a movie that... You remember that one, John?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was very trippy. It was very, out there. It was, on the verge of, scary suspense, but it was more, intriguing. It wasn't so much, it just kept you, wanting to know more, wanting to venture further into the rabbit hole,
Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth was really good. And then on this movie, you see a lot of his film techniques, the way that he sets the pictures up, which, by the way, the movie had beautiful takes and the way that the cinematography worked. But, I mean, I have a lot of little notes here, but in general, what you guys thought of it?
Bro, I thought that I'm gonna go straight to the ending. I thought the ending was fucking insane. Fucking insane, dude.
Full circle, bro.
But insane in a good way. I kind of towards the end of the movie, I was expecting that he was gonna.
Yeah, I saw it.
So
once
it wasn't like
he
it
got
caught
to
me
the
by
train
surprise.
track.
Yeah,
once he was bleeding out, and he got to the train track, and I heard the noise. I'm like, oh man, he's going right back to the circus, and he's gonna be the geek.
When I heard the chickens, I was like,
Oh, I didn't even notice that linkage there.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, the chickens again.
That was a good scene. When he was behind the chickens, the camera went up, and it showed him laying there. And what it made me think about was when the fortune teller was telling him, or when he pulled out the tarot card of the hanged man. I thought that was a little bit of symbolism.
Oh shit!
Very heavy on the symbolism, very heavy on the foreshadowing. The entire movie, they were kind of telling you, why even go through the process of telling you how to acquire a geek if it eventually is gonna happen again? It was it was very nice
at the beginning.
Very telling.
Mm-hmm. No, it was perfectly played, and I thought at the beginning when he was explaining how to get the geek, I thought that he was referencing to himself when this guy first offered him the first job. But I don't remember if he told him it was going to be temporary. I don't know if the first time he went into the circus, he was also being tested to be the geek.
Like him walking into the whole thing, I was like, this guy just showed up out of nowhere. You want a job? I'm like, oh, what the, how do you, how does that happen?
I think he was also trying him at the beginning, but then he was like, oh no, you're not the geek. But dude, that image at the end was sick when he's laughing and he's like, do I know what a geek is? I was born for it. And it was like, oh shit. And
yeah, you know those clips that they show right when they announce a nomination for best whatever it is, and I think he's nominated for best actor. I think they're gonna show that little clip at the end of that movie, because I
was born for it.
He looked like a lunatic, bro. I was like, this guy's gonna win the Oscar for this one.
I know this is very soon. And this is not the best movie that I've ever seen, but given the quality of movies that go to the Oscar in the last few years, and it's true that we have a lot more movies to see and watch and review that are gonna be in the Oscars, but this being the first one of the series, I think this one could make it. I think this one could win the fucking Oscar. Like, I haven't seen a movie that's good that is a recent movie. I have a lot of lists of classic movies that I've been watching recently that are great, but I'm saying like a new movie like this. Maybe it has to do with the Spanish director, foreign director, not this woke view. I think I don't want to fall in this like woke talk, but you see it in a lot of the movies recently. It's a lot of wokeism, but then I'm starting to get a little hope that some movies are like, no, we're not gonna do something like, let's do some real shit. This movie was just, it just kept me entertained, and there was part of me like 70% into the movie, I'm like, there was a chance that the movie was gonna end with not really an ending, because sometimes there's movies that are made and they're like, oh, we just want to like catch a moment in time, and they don't really have a plot. Like, for example, I know Agent didn't like Once Upon a Time in Mexico that much, and it has that in that movie where it doesn't really have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where it doesn't really have a plot. It's just like, right? But in this movie, to the end, bro, it closes the story so good. I don't know. I'm gonna shut the fuck up because I want you guys to tell me shit.
And once again, it happens to be a World War II movie. Again, I'm like, I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Well, we gotta watch the original, because the original was made right after World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and at the end, it never really had any relevance that it was World War II. I mean, I guess just to show the time.
Right. Like when Bradley Cooper and his wife were trying to play this guy, and his best man was listening to the radio, and like he would tune into World War II and all the news that was going on. But yeah, it didn't really make much reference.
Well, I mean, we're already there, right? Let's go to the ending. This is my thing, right?
We'll start at the end and go back.
This is my thing, right? You're dealing with this rich man that's crazy, that kills people, right? And that's your plan? Like, you never thought it through? Like, you thought he was going to look at his wife and then leave it there? You never thought, what if he goes and approaches her? Like, they never thought of that plan. And
especially
I'm just like,
with his personality.
Yeah.
That guy's personality was, I don't give a fuck. I'll give whatever amount of money to see my wife again. You think he's just going to get down on his knees and close his eyes?
Like, bro, when they brought him in the first time and put, like, the lie detector, I was like, yeah, I'm out. Peace. Like, sorry, this is not the type of shit. Like, my spirits don't work with this machine. But this guy was ballsy. He took it to the end.
He played the lie detector machine perfectly. He lied when he needed to, and he had so much conviction in seeing the person's wife or the spirit or feeling it there that he convinced the lie detector that he was being for real.
Yeah, he got lost. He got lost in the south.
He did.
That goes back to the whole thing with the foreshadowing. You know, remember that when Pete tells him, "Look, this book can be used for bad." You know, the book of tricks.
Mm-hmm.
If a man starts believing all the lies that he says, then he will have to face, God at the end or something like that. And then there's no lying to God. So like the amount of lying that he had to do to get there, to get to that point, he knew what he did, and what he was capable of doing, and he was capable of even passing this lie detector test in like bold face in front of this person. And at the end, it cost him.
That's a good little metaphor there, where when you feel like he's like, when you think they got him, or like, oh, the lie detector got him, but then he does it, you're like, oh, it's sort of like a metaphor to he now believes his lies.
Basically.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's too ballsy.
They did that too when he took the sip of the whiskey, or whatever, the drink from the girl. They're like, this is my new identity. That's it. I'm a changed person. New chapter. I think that's what I saw.
At the end?
When he was with her in the office and they were celebrating the fact that they were like taking advantage of this guy, and she had a cup of liquor poured out, and then he grabbed it and he like kind of toasted to it.
But you're talking about the end when he goes get the money and she shoots him?
No. Before that,
He did his
before the
drink.
whole play of him and his wife going to do the whole scene.
Like after the lie detector, before the scene.
Right. Yeah, they're
He's
getting
celebrating.
to that point.
He's celebrating with his wife, the girlfriend.
He's celebrating with the psychologist.
Oh, with the psychologist. 'Cause
Saying-
he didn't drink, so that's why.
Yeah.
He
that
never
scene,
drinks.
in that scene
Wow.
he did, and
Oh, I
I thought it
didn't
was like a transformation of like, that's it. My old identity is gone. I'm this new guy.
I didn't catch that one.
The hangman.
Now, part of me also, and I understand that the con men do it very well, and they're playing with people's suffering and shit, but it's like, this guy's just getting him with like little information that and the guy's just like, oh yeah, she was born. Like, I don't know, I just don't see how, like it's just stupid to me, like, you know?
It's also the 1940s.
And people are vulnerable with their loved ones, especially after a death.
It reminds me
I
a
think
lot.
that Bradley Cooper, he brought up a good point. He said to his wife that like that's what pastors do every Sunday at church, right? Like you make people feel better, even if they feel like he thinks that pastors are cons, right? And it doesn't matter if they're cons or not, because the person that's listening to them, they feel like their life is better after listening to whatever the guy is saying to them. So like, can you really blame him? Like, is he really an asshole for doing what he's
No,
doing?
of course, he's a
If the
fucking
person does
psycho.
feel better afterwards?
No, he's a fucking
No, he is a
piece of
psychopath.
shit.
Yes, don't get me wrong. But if he is helping people,
But he's not.
Can we agree that he fucking killed Pete?
No, well, that I
what do you
think
mean
he'll
if he's
be.
not? If he's bringing closure, if he's bringing closure to people,
Yeah, Adrian, if by closure you
He's helping
mean
them.
that lady that fucking shot her husband and then herself because she wanted to
Yeah,
reunite
get the fuck
with
outta here.
Julian.
and that's why they shown that scene, to show that like, no, he's not helping anybody. But I'm sure there's other people, like, as he got to that point, that he was helping. whatever the hell.
Although to be honest, that kind of was out of his hands, right? Like if she wants to take that information and be like, oh, let's reunite with Julian,
Let's reunite with our son.
you can't really.
Holy shit.
By the way, that lady is the mom in Step Brothers.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
I think he did kill Pete intentionally.
Yeah, for sure.
I need to go back and rewatch which of the crates you're not supposed to get the liquor from, but I'm pretty sure he got it intentionally from the one that was gonna fuck him up.
Oh,
I don't
didn't
think
even notice
it
that.
shows him getting the alcohol. It's just like
does.
once again the whole thing with the like the fact that Green Goblin even mentioned it, because that's like the first thing that I thought was like, what is Green Goblin doing over here talking to Rocket Raccoon and shit, you know? The fact that he even mentioned like, oh look, this is the alcohol you drink and this is the alcohol you don't drink. They're right next to each other. Make sure you don't drink this one.
Got
Oh,
it.
damn.
Got it?
I didn't even think of this. Okay, so
They're right next to each other.
Because he said the other alcohol was just to pickle the fetuses that he pickled, I guess.
And for the show, like to make fire and all that bullshit, but like
Okay.
not for consumption.
Oh, so you think he gave him the fucked up liquor?
Like, dude,
Well,
how
he
many
died instantly.
how many times has he drank before? Like, there's no way he offed himself.
And
He
then
died
but
overnight.
why would him?
So
mean,
he
I
could
guess
get the
he
book.
Okay.
That
And then
same night, he was reading the book, and then that's when he grabbed him and gave him the lecture, like, yo, this could take you down a dark path. And he's like, all right, bet.
All right, bet, fuck you.
got him the liquor, went back, and then Pete was dead the next day.
I will give it to Bradley Cooper's character that he has perseverance. When he wants something, he will get it. He really wanted that watch.
What was his dad's? Oh man,
That's what.
bro. When they show that
Yo.
part with his dad at the end, the movie starts getting sick, like twisted. You like, he's like, I've always hated you. Opens the window. Let's go, bro.
Let's go.
Watch him die.
He's like, yo, I'm gonna chill here real quick. Puts on
I
his
got
coat.
all day.
And then
I got
digs
your
a,
life.
and then digs
I
a
got all
hole in the
winter.
house. Digs a hole in the house.
Yo.
Throws them in there and burns that shit. Like at the beginning, you kind of, this is crazy because I don't know if this is intended, but the movie at the beginning makes you feel for Bradley Cooper. Like you're on his side. Like he has some shit that he carries in the past. Maybe the guilt that he didn't maybe help his father enough. And at least this is how I saw it. Like you start building this whole thing. Like he's a shitty person, but there's some things in the past that eventually will come around, and he's like a bad man but with good intentions. And then towards the end, you're like, oh no, this is a psychopath piece of shit. And you're like, and he makes the movie even better. You know, like okay. And tell me at the end, in the ending, when he becomes the geek, right? He's crying but laughing. Do you think his feeling there is, man, I've gone through all this bullshit. Like this is what I want to do now, and I'm comfortable there. I'm crazy, or do you think he's like, oh fuck, this is really bad. I got to that place, the bottom of the totem pole, or both? What do you think he's thinking then?
It's like I feel that with that scene where he's laughing and crying at the same time, it's like, damn, life's a bitch. Look at everything that I did to get the fuck out of here, and look at where I end up, a fucking geek. Like not a geek in the sense of like a person who studies a lot or some shit, but like that character in the movie. I'm like, damn, like like how many people I had to kill to get the money that I get to, that how many people I had to lie to. I killed my father for a watch. I traded it for booze, and now I'm a fucking geek. Yo, life's a bitch. That's what I felt like. That's what I felt came across with the laughing, crying at the end.
The irony of it all.
Yeah, exactly. Like, damn, like seriously, like, holy shit. But
Like
what
I
about
felt
you,
I
Adrian?
felt a little bit of
What-
acceptance.
Go ahead.
No, go.
A bit, and that's what I want to touch on, because I was like, do you think that no matter what he could have done, like given the past that he had, that was always gonna be his fate? And then once he saw his fate, he's like, "Yep, this is what I was born to do," which is what he says. Like there was no escaping this.
No, I saw it
Started
more like
thinking, does it
I
matter?
saw it more that he now feels that way after all the bullshit. Like he's now become a savage. He's now a savage. Like I think there's a progression in the character.
Yeah,
Like,
but do you
I mean,
think
it's
like
not
I've
really,
heard
it's
people
more
are,
like
do you think that you're always gonna go down that path? Like you're
I
put
feel like
here with already a determined route.
I feel like
No.
it's not really a progression, more like a regression or a degression, like the opposite of progression. Like instead of
No.
going up, going down.
Yeah, but he's not going back. Like this is what I mean by this. Well, never mind, because then that last scene with his father makes you know that he was just a piece of shit. Although we don't really know what his father did to him, so that's sort of in the hanging there.
I mean,
But I think he
the
becomes
fact that he went to a car.
he becomes more of a piece of
He said something
shit.
to the therapist about it. I forgot what it was.
Sorry, you think that he becomes?
Yeah, I think he becomes worst. I mean, he seems like he was already bad, but he becomes worst as his little trick becomes better, and he's able to trick people. And you can see it because the lady Molly was like, she was like the good person in the movie, and he distanced himself from her. But you were saying something, Adrian, about the therapist telling him something about his dad.
Yeah, in one of the sessions, he started talking to the therapist about his past and his dad and his mom. I don't remember the exact dialogue, but I think it touched on the fact that his dad was a piece of shit to him.
That he drank. I remember now exactly. He said, did he drink? And he said he had like some shit happen to him. He went gray, which I assume it was like he went crazy. And then she's like, so did he drink? He's like, yeah, obviously he drank because that's how you get to that point of going crazy. So I guess he had a thing against alcohol, but whatever. But yeah, I think he becomes worse as he gets lost in the South. And yeah, he shouldn't have done, like, the people suiciding each other. I think that was not on his hands, you know. He did trick him, but it was like a little small trick. Yeah, he's there, he loves you. You could have seen it as like, okay, he's just comforting them so that they can move on, right? But then with the other guy, he goes deep.
Yeah, there he took it a little too far. But and I guess I don't want to defend him, but I thought he brought up a good point to his wife. It's like pastors do it, and that's why I mentioned this. Like that's what this guy Joel Osteen does all the time, right? I mean, if you're not religious and he does that for the masses, everybody feels better after going to church on Sunday. They feel like their sins are washed away and like it brings closure to their lives. So maybe it's a shitty way to justify his psychotic behavior, but I think he has a bit of a point. Obviously, don't take it to the extreme that he did.
Has a point. I mean, doesn't make it right. Like what's it called? Joel Osteen. He's not right either. And you know, another point that I want to touch on this. They kind of make it. They give you a similarity, and the therapist says it, or he says it. Like a therapist is kind of like a little con man too, right? Because they also have these little trick words of like, oh, your father did he say? Like at the end of the day, it's like a pseudoscience where you're also playing with people's emotions and people's expectations, and at the end of the day, you're just feeding them bullshit. I mean, I don't want to, you know, for psychologists out there, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that there is some value to it, but a lot of them are snake. What were they called? Snake
oil?
No, the snake charmers.
I was gonna say snake in the grass, but okay.
Snake charmers.
We didn't see your tits, and I thought they were about to fuck several times.
Yeah, that scene is like, and look at my scar, and then she's like, you get this if you fuck up type shit. Which at the end, nobody fucked him up, like, you know.
That whole scene with him at the psychologist, it almost felt like a hypnotist act. Like she was kind of like hypnotizing him into revealing more about his life with the cues, with like, oh no, just keep your head down and like just, you know, think about it, lay down and stuff like that. Like it felt like she was kind of like drawing that information out of him, much in the same way how he draws information out of the people through the cues and the verbal cues and the whatever, seeing the person and all that good stuff, the mentalist act that he does.
But he got got by that.
But he seems like he allows himself to get wooed by her, and you always feel that he has it under control. And this is why at the end, when she betrays him, and this is one of the flaws that I found in the movie, and again, this doesn't break the movie, but you know, if I want to be like picky about it, it's like he's super surprised, like super surprised that she could have fucked you over. You're keeping all this money there. Makes it look like she doesn't care about money, but then she does. You know what I thought the movie was gonna turn? Because right when he's about to leave, she says like, oh, I do love you, Stan. Which I don't understand how that triggers the movie to turn somewhere, just that word. And then she's like, what do you mean by that? Like, I didn't understand why that was so powerful. But then she sort of reveals like, oh, yeah, I took the money, fuck you, whatever. But
agreed. I thought when she said I love you, I thought he was just gonna be like, all right, bitch.
When she starts recording and then she says patient so and so, and then he opens the bag and there's no money, I thought the movie was gonna go to this motherfucker has been seeing this shrink and the whole movie is in his fucking mind. Did you guys think that?
For like a second.
She's like, patient like, number one. And he's like, what do you mean?
Damn.
We did all this. And she's like, what do you mean? I never seen you outside this office.
Straight up crazy.
This motherfucker. And I was like, oh, they're going to do some Shutter Island shit in this bitch, right?
Yeah.
But then they didn't, and that's fine. But then, yeah, she kills him. Like that little part at the end was a bit weird, and I thought she had shot him in the head. It was just the ear. So he escapes.
I didn't like that she didn't die. I'm not gonna lie.
And also, there's this little scene where the security guards ask her, "Are you okay, ma'am?" And she's obviously trying to make it look like she's the victim, right? So she should have been like, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." She was like, "I'll survive," which is like, like
cold-hearted
say, right?
Like,
yeah,
what?
that's suspicious.
Let's bring her in.
Okay, but also like at the beginning,
that's sus at the very least.
When they make the deal that she's gonna help him with the tips on the rich guys, and that in return he's gonna tell her the truth. Like, why the fuck does she care about his truth? Like, all right, but you're gonna tell me the truth about your life. Like you know, these movies sometimes it's like this girl for some reason cares about the past of this troubled, complicated, complex man. Yeah, but I want to know your truth. And he's like, oh, you'll never get to it. And she's like, no, sit down. That little
but
part.
she's a psychologist. She also wanted to fuck with him.
I think from the moment that she told him to come into her office, she's like, look, I'm recording. That's it. Like, from the moment she said, look, I'm recording, like, I have this mic open that I'm recording everything that happens on here. Done. You fell in it, like, she's a spider and you fell in her trap, bro. That's it. I would have just left. I'd be like, nah, no recordings here. You meet me at so-and-so place. We'll talk about whatever the fuck you want. Nah. Fuck that shit. If you're a comment and you know what the fuck you're going to do.
And also, she could have gotten fucked by the older guy because it would have been obvious that she's the one who gave this guy the information. Even the last information that he stole from her recordings is still her fault. So, I guess her whole plan was based on many things happening correctly that could have failed at any moment, right? Starting from the fact that they could have gotten killed at the end when the whole little La Llorona scene went south.
Well, she would have kept all the money, which she did.
No,
yeah, I guess, but they could have killed him, and then they could have gone to kill her.
They wouldn't know.
Why?
Because
even having access. I mean, it's a reach to think that he got access to those tapes, and that's the reason he knows. Because he doesn't outright say things. He puts little
so
hints. Like,
all right, okay, but put yourself in the shoes of the rich guy, right? Which, by the way, is the dad in Step Brothers.
Dad and the mom of Step Brothers. God damn. Where's Will Ferrell? Is he the geek?
If you put yourself in that guy's shoes, right? You put yourself in that guy's shoes. He went through the extent of having a lie detector, of telling him, don't fuck with me because we'll practically kill you, right? And then the things that this guy says to impress him and make him believe that he really is talking to his dead wife are coincidentally things that are known by the only person that is related to this person and that reference me. Like yeah, you would.
He did his own digging. He went into her personal records and went to the bank and pulled out her little safety thing with the
all right, okay, but it is clear that depending on how things turned out, there could have been things that allowed the older guy to know, hey, that fucking psychologist is in this shit. I guess. Whatever. I guess she played it and things went well for her. I don't know. I think the guy could have just made it happen much better, but I guess it wouldn't have been a movie otherwise. One thing that...
He's strong as fuck. He just took this guy's nose out with a few punches.
Oh, that's something that I had here on my notes. The goriness on point.
Yeah, he beat the fucking shit out of him.
And then,
4 punches took out his nose clean off. You look like Voldemort.
And then when the bodyguard came and he ran him over, you could see the scalp. Like, the goriness was on point. I loved it. And when he gets shot in the ear, you could, like, it was really good. I really loved that part.
I really like the scene where the bodyguard gets run over for the second time. and then like you see his hands up like this, and like you see like it got cut here because of the getting run over, and it kind of like it just like it's like there for a little bit, and then it goes like it falls, like it separates. It was very, very highly attentive to detail.
Yeah, Hollywood's gotten really good at those scenes. I don't know how the hell they do it.
No, I love that scene, and well, in general, the cinematography. Again, one of those words that I say with a weird accent. The cinematography.
He's learning how to read.
Cinematography.
Cinematography. All right, now say
put
it
it together,
together.
Kiko.
You can do it.
Cinematography.
Cinematography. No, but beautiful. 1940s.
Oh my God.
And bro, like the life in a circus. Fucking hard.
I wrote that.
Walked up
They need to bring that shit back, dude. They don't have circuses anymore.
Bro, I had a friend.
for a reason.
Those acts are pretty cool. I mean, not that crazy, but
I had a friend back in the day that he like I would see him on Facebook. He joined like a circus, and he would just travel with the circus. And I don't even think he was like a performer. He was more like just a worker, like I don't know, pick up elephant shit or sell cotton candy. No, but dude, to this day, like it's like a little bit like, I mean, obviously not exactly, but not that different. You don't have the freak act, which by the way, the freak, right, the geek or whatever, they want to make it look like a savage. Oh, the savage. It's like a homeless guy. Like it's not like it's like this beast. It's half a man, half monster. No, it's a homeless man from the streets. Like
It's an opium addict.
they drive him to insanity.
yeah, I guess
Starving
that's
him.
Okay, and then that's why he.
Yeah, he's like, I haven't eaten in a month. I'm gonna eat this chicken.
And what was it that the drink? Because he said I put this thing on the drink so that they keep coming back to the drink.
Yeah, he puts he has a dropper of opium that he puts in his drink. So as he's getting drunk, he's also getting high off opium, and he's thinking that the alcohol is getting him to that point. And eventually, once he goes cold turkey, he's cold turkey off of not only the alcohol but the opium.
And then I feel like the agreement isn't that he's eating chickens because he's hungry. The agreement is if you eat a chicken, you get a drink.
Right, right. If you make a show,
So if you make the show, then you'll get you get the bottle with the opium, and you'll be fine and you'll be good.
right.
Because
Yeah,
I don't think he's hungry. I think he just wants to get high, like off the opium.
It's a little bit like you're pimping the geeks, right?
Basically.
Basically,
And then you get the best out of, you get the most out of them.
but then that feels like the same way with all the other acts. Like all the other acts are just people that I found it weird when Bradley Cooper was running. Oh, sorry, when he was burying the chickens, and then he saw the cops coming, and then he was running. Like, was he running because the cops were gonna show up, and they were gonna like find him because of what he did in the past, or was he running from the cops because of something else that was happening in the carnival?
Well,
Like,
I assume based on the scenes that I guess having a carnival is legal, but not having like this illegal acts like the Savage Man type shit. Like
right, with the chicken.
That's the part. That's the illegal part. So it's sort of like the strip clubs are legal, but not, champagne room. What happens there? So
What happens in the champagne? Right.
and that's when he first sees the gift, when he woos the sheriff.
Yeah, then he felt like God.
And he got a southern accent talking to him. He started getting a southern. He adapted it. Let me go to some of
telling
these.
William Dafoe, like, I got this guy, and he's like, "Yep, you got him."
Yo,
The man now.
What about Enoch, bro?
Yeah, but what was that ball in his head?
And third eye.
This guy just kept a bunch of fetuses.
Oh my God.
Maybe that's why he was running from the cops, because that shit fucking will get you in some asylum.
Just having that.
Now, did you guys think when he was in the train at the end that he was gonna end up in the same circus city from the beginning. I thought he was gonna be the geek for that same guy, Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah. Well, I thought he was gonna go back to the circus, and I thought Willem Dafoe was gonna be there waiting for him. I don't know it was gonna be under new ownership.
Yeah, I think that could have made it better if they did that, but
I think it would have been too. It would have been too ironic
too on the
for it to have been Willem Dafoe.
Okay.
Yeah,
like,
I think it was good. It was some random guy giving the same spiel.
Exactly.
I got a job for you.
Hey, it's temporary. When he said it's temporary, I was like, oh fuck! I just collapsed in my. I was like, oh no.
And I mean, I guess a few things that I put here at the beginning. A quarter. It costed to see the man eat the chicken. But then it was like $1 for a whole day's of work. Like, I just found it very expensive. Like, economically, I wouldn't go on that ride. I would prefer other rides. Because the bath costed 10 cents, which, by the way, was very intense, like, from the beginning.
That was a really nice bath.
Like, from the beginning, she was ready, like, oh, this includes sexual.
Oh, that was part of it? That, like, you had that feeling from the get?
Whoa, as soon as the guy goes in, I mean, starting from the fact that the bath is like in the living room.
That was kind of strange that it was just there in view. And then Pete was like, yeah, I'm going to go do some things. You guys do whatever. Like he already knew, like he was already accustomed to it.
It seems so because that was pretty fucking intense. Like you almost felt like he was kind of like willingly knowing that she was fucking other people. Xena, that's her name, right? Xena.
Yeah, Xena. Yeah, I think it was.
We're talking about Bradley Cooper's dick yet?
We just got to it. Well, it's getting there.
which they show it right on the bath.
No, they don't.
On the bath, I see a little. I think he's not. He's not circumcised.
I'm not to go rewatch it then. I didn't see that shit.
Man, Bradley Cooper
imagining it.
No. Bradley Cooper killed it. No, but what I was saying is, like, the bath automatically included sex. Come on.
That's a good. Yeah, I put that in my notes. I'm like, that's the move. I gotta. Hey, can I use your bath?
And then the bath is in the fucking living room. And then the husband is like, I'm out.
Like, you take a bath. She's gonna jerk you off real good. I'll be back.
This is the other thing, right? Like, he killed the guy because of the book? Of the book, right? But the guy was willing to teach him everything. So I was like, what the fuck?
But not everything.
Yeah, he didn't give him the book.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe it was by mistake. Maybe like he mistakenly gave him the wrong alcohol. But I feel like he did it on purpose.
And in the scene, it shows him picking it from that specific crate.
It doesn't show. It just shows him depositing the coin. Like, I'm gonna go back to see it, but I doubt it, bro.
It shows him grabbing the liquor.
No, it shows him putting the coin.
Bet.
Hey, and which
also right? What coin? He leaves the coin after he grabs it from the crate.
Anyways, you would think, right? You would think that if there's one liquor that can kill you and one that not, you want to make it more of a difference than just the crate where it was in. Like, you might want to package it in a different bottle, put a sticker on it that says don't drink. This is like,
then it wouldn't be a it wouldn't be a movie.
We have 2 crates, one color each, and that's the only way we'll ever know which one is a death liquid.
Oh my god, the death crate.
You know that the fair still goes on here, right? Like the Miami-Dade County Fair. They have it here, and they had it a few months ago. Mm-hmm. And they tour the United States. It's the same company that has these carnies, and they do the same thing. They package these things up, and they go from city to city, putting on the same show. Obviously, they're not in any acts. All they do is maybe assemble the rides, the ones that are not hooked on dope, and the other ones that are just like press start button to get them going. But I wonder if it's like that, man. If they're all like just in that route. And hooked
I
on drugs and shit.
I will dare to say that society is gotta be a peculiar one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to generalize, because like I said, I had a friend that was in the circus, but even this guy was like in a proper circus. What you're talking about, the fairs, that's like even lower. And I'm sorry if there's anybody that listens to the podcast and they're like, they own a fair or some shit, my bad, but it is
Nah, if
pretty,
they own the fair, they're good.
yeah.
If they're listening to this podcast while they're
working at the fair.
I mean, that's what you would expect, right? Somebody to like be on some other shit. Like, I don't know if people that work in the fair listen to podcasts.
Right.
At the very least, I believe that the people that are carnies or people that work at carnivals and fairs have a questionable past. I think we could say that.
Not everybody, but you could see how it is a type of job that lends itself to people having weird past, because I guess they don't really ask for, your CarMax.
Work history.
Right. Well, and I mean, in the beginning of the movie, William Dafoe told him, like, you could work here. Nobody cares where you're from or what you did.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I thought for a while he was mute.
11 minutes. The first 11 minutes, he didn't talk anything of Bradley Cooper at all. Like, go back. I was like, oh, this guy's not gonna talk the whole movie, and I kept counting. I was like, dude, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 11 minutes.
So what's the first scene that he talks?
When the geek gets lost in the Hall of Mirrors or whatever.
Oh, so when they offer him the job, he just says like this?
Doesn't say a word.
I
was like, this is not gonna talk the whole movie. I was like, dude. But then he talked.
And the guy, the geek, the first one, hit him with the rock hard as hell.
He's like, I'm not. It's not like this. I'm not like this. It's just.
And then Bradley Cooper fucks him up pretty bad.
That was crazy.
Okay, so what do you think about this in general? What would be your score for this one, John?
Oof. This was an intense roller coaster ride. It felt like, you were going up most of the movie, just like, and then the free fall happens when you hear the radio, like when you hear the radio, oh, the judge and no sé qué, they committed suicide. When you hear that coaster's like, yeah, like.
Well, to me, that coaster starts when they shoot themselves, because it's out of nowhere. She's like, "Hey, do you remember what Julian told us about?" And then she's like, "Well, let's boom."
Yeah, and I think that scene was to show that like what he's doing is affecting people's lives in a negative way, because there's no other reason to have that.
Well, I mean, it was sick. It was a sick scene. Like, that shit was. And also, when the guy at the end, the security guard, hears that news in the radio, I mean, I understand they wanted to make it look like those news mean like, oh, be careful with these people. But like, could have been totally unrelated that they killed themselves. Like, what would it have to do that they spoke to this guy? You know what I mean?
But the fact that he was there, and the fact that happened, and then they knew about the fact that, because the whole thing is that they got into contact with Bradley Cooper through the judge, and now this guy committed suicide. Like, yo, what the? And then they go outside to the whole scene of the aggressive guy, the stepbrother's dad going and trying to grab the lady, and she's like, I can't do this, and then that whole just downpour of like shit that happens.
I mean, I guess you have to suspend some belief. Because otherwise, I mean, the movie has to be made. But that is one little hole. The fact that like you are counting on this plan to go perfectly fine when you don't know the reaction of this person. Like, yeah, I mean, like, you have to think that he's gonna try to go to the person, you know.
But like the fact that he even tried that is where his downfall begins. Like he got so caught up with making money and trying to he became Icarus. He got too close to the sun.
Like the whole time, I didn't even think ever that he was gonna attempt to do some like La Llorona style scene. Like I thought he was gonna bring the girl and he was gonna say that the spirit was gonna go inside the girl.
Like a seance?
Yeah, like a medium. Like, but then when at the end I figured out that he's gonna attempt to make it look like this bitch is the actual bitch and is a ghost. I'm like, yo, come on, dude.
You done fucked up.
I think that's how full of shit like the director wanted to show you that he was. That he just thought way too much of himself. And she should have gotten out, bro. I don't even know why she told him, like, oh, I'm going to be at the train station over here. I just left 20 minutes ago. So if you leave right now, you'll be there. Like, if you're going to leave, you just leave.
Yeah, she should have left.
She loved him, and she was kind of pure of heart. She didn't really like have that malice that Bradley Cooper had, you know?
Yeah.
Thankfully, we want to believe that she did well.
Yeah, I hope so.
After she escaped. So.
But she went back to the guy, and she probably never dated anybody ever again, and died alone because
bro, I was hoping that she would run into him at the carnival again, and him as a geek.
Yeah,
that would have been cool. Like him already into geek form, and then like she shows up like to see, like, oh, come look at the geek, and he's doing his geek thing.
But she goes as an spectator with her husband doing well now.
And some shit like
geek.
that.
Yeah. With the Bruce guy, the big fucking jack.
Nah, because that was like the uncle. That was like the uncle.
No.
Alright, whatever, guys.
Not like a young Casey Affleck.
It would have been with Major, if anything.
Or just them seeing each other like for the first time. She didn't even know he was a geek.
Yeah, something like that. Like,
I gotta bite this chicken's neck. You're not gonna give me the heroin.
All right, so to conclude on this movie, I'll give you my score, 1 to 10, and being very strict with the scoring. This is an 8.
Damn, I gave it an 8.5.
Oof. 7.5.
7.5, 8.5, and 8. That averaged to 8. So this movie is an 8 in the Broski Doodles, scale, whatever the fuck.
Whatever the fuck.
Which is high.
Which is really high.
This movie was really good though. Really, really good.
It was fucking good. Well, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for fucking tuning in. The Broski Doodles movie review with the crew on Thursdays. Every Thursday we'll bring you these movies. And in the next weeks, you're going to have some of the movies that we're going to... Well, not some of them. All of the next episodes are going to be Oscar movies so that, we can also talk about that and see which one wins. I think this is a good candidate for winning, but we do got a lot of movies left to watch. So we'll get to it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, John and Adrian, for joining. And have a fucking lovely day. Peace.